Coverage you can count on. This is the Wabash Valley's most watched newscast with Susan Dinkle and Storm Team 10 meteorologist Everett Lau. This is News 10, first at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Susan Dinkle.
When news breaks, Fox 23 delivers it with integrity.
Here's what we know so far.
Jackson R2's effort to attract more bus drivers.
Fox 23 delivers trustworthy news from local stories that affect your life to the latest breaking news updates.
Storms possible late Friday into Saturday. Students from area schools explaining why this drunk driving simulation makes an impact.
Stay informed and stay ahead. Download the Fox 23 Now app for accurate, up-to-the-minute coverage of our community.
In Cape Girardeau, Missouri, Fox 23 News.
Your first alert station, KFES 12. The Breakfast Show starts now.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. The heat and humidity will be sticking around the next few days.
A focus on issues. A focus on people. A focus on community. These are the stories that affect all of us in Northeast Ohio. This is 43 Focus.
Just because you don't hear us in media talk about COVID-19 very often doesn't mean that you can forget about it.
Live on your side, Good Day Alabama starts with breaking news.
And we start off with breaking news this morning. 4 people dead and dozens of additional victims in a mass shooting in the 5 Points South area in Birmingham. It happened just after 11 o'clock last night. This was the scene. Birmingham police say multiple shooters fired on a crowd waiting on a sidewalk.
ABC 3340 News Weekend begins with breaking news.
It was people everywhere, people crying, screaming. I seen people running, the grieving type screaming, like, I know someone is hurt or have passed away. So it was that type. So that's when I instantly knew someone lost a loved one in Club Hush. And it's sad. It's very sad.
Tragedy in 5 Points South overnight. 4 people dead, 17 others hurt. More than 100 shots fired in a search for suspects in what Birmingham police are calling a mass shooting.
WVTM 13 News begins with breaking news.
Flowers in 5 Points tonight as the community mourns the lives of 4 people killed in a deadly shooting.
Tonight, police released the names of 3 of the victims, Anitra Holloman, Taj Booker, and Carlos McCain. The 4th victim is also an adult, but he has not been identified yet.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Sherry Falk. We're learning new information about last night's deadly shooting. It happened just after 11 in the middle of the 5 Points South Entertainment District, leaving 4 dead and 17 others hurt.
Powered by WCTV.tv. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
Straight ahead at 6, team coverage across the Big Bend. Tonight, our team following a storm that's expected to rapidly strengthen and head this direction. We have live reports from the coast and the capital city as communities are getting ready. Thank you for joining us at 6 tonight. I'm Julie Montanaro.
And I'm Jacob Murphy. Well, it's a familiar feeling for everyone here in the Big Bend and South Georgia. A new cone and a new spectrum of possibilities to follow. On that note, we want to send it over to Chief Meteorologist Mike McCall to sort everything out for us at this hour. Mike?
And our first alert weather team tracking a potential tropical system. Chief Meteorologist Yolanda Amadeo will tell us how it might impact Southwest Georgia.
One Plains resident is going beyond the surface of Plains, Georgia, and sharing its historical legacy when it comes to race. I'll share details about a new documentary next. WALB News 10 at 6 starts now.
From your hometown news source, this is WALB News 10.
Well, right now at 6, we want to get right to the weather as we're bracing for a potential tropical cyclone. That all being said, a first alert weather day has been declared for this upcoming Thursday.
First alert Chief Meteorologist Yolanda Amadeo is here now to tell us what to expect and interpret the latest models.
Live from WJHG,
This is News Channel 7 at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Barry Lowe, and welcome to News Channel 7 at 10. Governor Ron DeSantis has declared a state of emergency in 41 counties ahead of potential Tropical Cyclone 9. Several counties in our viewing area are listed under the state of emergency, including Bay, Calhoun, Franklin, Gulf, Holmes, Jackson, Liberty, Okaloosa, Walton, and Washington.
Now on the NBC5 News at 10, from City Hall to federal prison, Alderman Ed Burke's big transition. What he can expect inside prison tonight.
Rain returns for the morning. Brett Miller lets us know how long it may stick around.
Tonight, White Sox first baseman Andrew Bond helps make a dream come true for a young man fighting cancer. How a winning spirit can make all the difference.
Consumers lost a record amount of money to financial investment scams last year. How you can tell a legitimate investment opportunity from a fake one. NBC5 responds. The news at 10 starts now. Welcome at 10 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Stephen Holtz.
And I'm Allison Rosati. The longest serving alderman in Chicago history is now serving prison time.
Leading the way with important local coverage. You're watching WISN 12 News at 11 a.m.
Because I've recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's. This is also a call.
Breaking news as we come on the air. Brett Favre diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. What we've just learned about the former Packers quarterback and his medical condition during his testimony on Capitol Hill.
And here's a look at some of those showers that are still out there as we speak. I'll let you know how long we're dealing with it, plus what the newest tropical storm could do to our weekend plans.
Prioritizing public safety in the city of Milwaukee's proposed budget for next year. Mayor Cavalier Johnson making his case for more money for police and fire. And Wisconsin's largest consignment sale is officially underway. We're live in Brookfield with the deals and steals for women and teens. First at 11, Weather Watch 12 and a live look outside in Milwaukee. Kind of dreary, gloomy out there on this Tuesday. Today is an impact day.
From WBAY TV, your first alert station. Action 2 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight after hearing reaction from fans, former coaches, even Governor Tony Evers about former Packers quarterback Brett Favre's Parkinson's diagnosis. The Pro Football Hall of Famer himself speaks out on the announcement. He took to social media today, first thanking God for all he's done in his life. Then he went on to say the diagnosis has been an ordeal, but he wants to thank those close to him for all the support.
Time now for your news at 6.
Developing now, Helene's major threat to Florida.
It's expected to become a hurricane tomorrow. There are watches and warnings up from the Keys to the Panhandle. I'm Chief Certified Meteorologist Betty Davis with the new advisory.
South Florida will see impacts from Helene. I'm hurricane specialist and storm surge expert Michael Lowry with the latest models.
Only on 10, deadly restaurant shooting caught on camera.
The shooter and victim were apparently arguing over a jukebox. I'm Stanella Sabovic with what the video shows.
Brutal beatdown, a helpless woman ambushed and attacked near her home.
Union on the brink. I'm Glenna Milberg with a vote affecting tens of thousands of Miami-Dade teachers.
I'm Janine Stanwood with Tyreek's uphill battle after that tough takedown at Hard Rock Stadium. The news at 6 starts now.
And good evening. Off the top at 6 tonight, Tropical Storm Helene is turning through the Caribbean and is expected to strengthen into a major hurricane before making landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast.
Folks up and down the Gulf Coast are getting ready for Helene.
This is 7 News at 6:30.
The season's newest storm picking up steam as it crosses the tropics. It's expected to get even stronger. Hello and good evening, everyone. Helene is a tropical storm for now.
That's right. Parts of the Sunshine State already under hurricane warning.
Live from Tampa Bay streaming news leader, this is ABC Action News, taking action for you.
Right now at 7, preparing for Tropical Storm Helene. State officials are getting ready for what could be a major hurricane in the Big Bend area. And here in Tampa Bay, people in several counties are also preparing for what Helene may bring. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Wendy Ryan. We will check in with our crews all over the Bay Area.
Tracking Helene. We have a brand new track for the system, and the biggest threat's going to be storm surge. We'll talk to impact and timing.
We have team coverage tonight.
I'm live in St. Pete with a citywide look at what they're doing to prepare for floodwater.
Plus, northern counties expecting to see stronger storm surge. I'm live as families in Hernando County scramble to prepare.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
And this is Nightside. I'm Dave Wagner, joined by 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. Tropical storm Helene is expected to rapidly intensify to a major hurricane over the next 48 hours. Bobby, you just got a new track within the past couple of minutes.
Just got the 11 o'clock in.
Powered by mysuncoast.com. ABC 7 News at 11 starts now.
A Sarasota neighborhood destroyed by Debbie still struggling to bounce back. Tropical storm Helene could mean catastrophe for them and their recovery. How neighbors are protecting the last of their belongings.
But first, many places on the Suncoast under tropical storm and storm surge watches tonight. We're keeping a close eye on our ABC 7 Max 3 satellite as Tropical Storm Helene moves through the Gulf, slowly gathering strength. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan joining us now.
Lots of activity out there, Bob. I understand the storm is expected to pick up the pace a little bit tomorrow.
First, fair, everywhere. 19 News starts now.
A busy night of severe storms in Northeast Ohio as we take a live look across the region. The 19 First Alert weather team on air for several hours tracking tornado warnings. Thanks for joining us for the news at 10 o'clock. I'm Chris Fry. Pleased to be joined by Chief Meteorologist Jason Nicholas. Actually got a little breather before we came on air.
Yeah, just had some dinner.
Yeah, there you go.
For about 10 minutes.
It was. And
now attend big celebrations in Southern Illinois as a place to help others in need reaches a milestone.
People on the Florida Gulf Coast are bracing tonight for a possible major hurricane. I'm Jason Allen in Florida's Big Bend region, where people are getting ready for damaging winds and potentially more than 12 feet of storm surge.
And is it too early to think about Thanksgiving travel? We've got some tips on how you can get the cheapest flights. Heartland News at 10 starts now.
Your first alert station, KFES 12. Heartland News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. A new program is coming to Southern Illinois with the goal to help better train counselors who treat complex trauma. Brianna Harris is live in the studio now with more details.
All data points to Category 1 Hurricane Helene being a catastrophic and devastating storm for parts of Florida. Here in the Wiregrass, major impacts are likely. Hurricane warnings now in effect. We're tracking the storm's every move and telling you how to prepare. Coming up.
Live, covering the Wiregrass. This is Fox 34 News at 9.
Good evening. Welcome to Fox 34 News at 9. I'm Michael Rinker. Thanks for choosing us as your early evening news source. And tonight's top headlines making news across the Wiregrass state and nation.
From your hometown news leader, News 4 begins with breaking news.
If you're a godly person, pray.
We got to be more ready this time than we've ever been before.
Tonight, the clock is running out for those trying to prepare for Hurricane Helene. Helene is expected to be a Category 4 hurricane before it makes landfall tomorrow afternoon. Experts say it will likely be the strongest hurricane to hit the U.S. in a year. Helene is expected to hit near the Florida Panhandle, bringing strong winds and several inches of rain. That's why our team declared tomorrow a forewarned weather day.
Some changes to school schedules in Northwest Florida tomorrow. Plus, how people in the Big Bend are preparing for Helene. A bipartisan Senate committee releases its report on the first assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump.
Yes, there needs to be accountability for what happened because there were a series of failures and all of the failures could have been prevented.
And more threats are assessed from overseas.
WEAR News at 10 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hurricane Helene moving its way north through the Gulf of Mexico right now, forecast to become a major hurricane when it makes landfall somewhere in the Big Bend tomorrow. This is a live look from just off the Sunshine Skyway Bridge in St. Petersburg. They should be seeing quite a windstorm and some surge tomorrow in that area. Hurricane hunters, they're keeping tabs on the storm. They flew through the eye of the storm earlier today. Their information indicates that Helene will in fact grow
You're watching continuing coverage of Helene from WESH 2.
Tonight, all eyes on Helene as the storm gathers strength and moves towards the Sunshine State.
This is a monster storm that looks to encompass almost the entire state of Florida as it moves up into the Panhandle and the Big Bend area.
The storm leaving behind damage and flooding from Mexico to Cuba. Now, Floridians are getting ready for what's to come.
It's not a matter of whether we're going to get effects. It's just a question of how significant those effects will be.
I'm just digging out my generator, getting it gassed up, making sure my family's ready to go. Everybody knows their safe space to go to.
Where we're standing right now used to be on the water.
WESH 2 has team coverage tonight from Central Florida to the Panhandle as people across the state brace for Helene.
This is First Coast News on your side at 11.
And first tonight at 11, Hurricane Helene could make landfall within the next 24 hours. The system could hit Florida's Big Bend as a Category 4 storm. And tonight, we have live team coverage for you with our Christina Burgess looking into how Duval County is preparing for the storm.
Now at 11. Warner Robins is helping people stay safe ahead of the storm, one sandbag at a time. Hear how the Public Works Department is taking steps to prevent flooding in town.
More school closures coming in as Hurricane Helene approaches. We have a list of schools that will be closed over the next several days.
Crisp County Sheriff Office and Emergency Management is urging people to stay inside during Hurricane Helene. I'll share tips on how you and your family should prepare.
13 WMAZ News at 11 starts right now with Frank Malloy, Lori Johnson, and Chief Meteorologist Ben Jones.
As we come on the air tonight, we continue tracking Hurricane Helene as it makes its way towards Florida and eventually central Georgia.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad. It's got new information on Hurricane Helene strengthening and headed in our direction with some significant impacts. That timeline of what we can expect straight ahead.
Tonight, Severe Weather Team 2 is guiding us through a 1-2 punch.
Probably one of our most significant events we've seen in a long time.
First, tonight's heavy rain falling now and for hours to come.
And Hurricane Helene is strengthening as it moves toward Georgia. Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz is analyzing new data right now. Plus,
we're live from DeKalb County, where some first responders will be dispatched from this warehouse full of ambulances.
The plans to respond, restore power, and keep you safe.
Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
And all new tonight,
a call from local animal shelters needing to get pets out of harm's way.
Live Severe Weather Team 2 coverage on WSB Tonight starts now.
We do want to thank you for joining us here for WSB Tonight. I'm Wendy Corona.
And I'm George Estevez. Let's get to the latest right now. Severe Weather Team 2 is tracking Hurricane Helene, a Category 1 storm. The National Hurricane Center issued its latest advisory just moments ago, in fact.
Right now at 11, we're tracking flooding and the potential for it in certain areas across East Tennessee. Our 10 weather impact team in straight ahead with your forecast and 2 more days of big potential. Then later, a group of veterans returned home after a day in the nation's capital. We will share some highlights from this all-female veteran trip to D.C. And Knox County homicide cases are on average with trends across the U.S. We'll look at a plan underway to pay tribute to the lives lost.
10 News in high definition is sponsored by Premier Family of Dealerships. 10 News on WBIR starts now.
Flash flooding is possible across parts of East Tennessee right now, and that's the reason on the satellite and radar, and we're tracking that the next 1 and 2 days. Good evening, and thank you for watching 10 News at 11. I'm John Becker. We begin immediately with Chief Meteorologist Todd Howell to set the scene overnight and into the morning hours. Todd.
This is CBS News New York.
If I'm charged, I know I am innocent. I will request an immediate trials so the New Yorkers can hear the truth.
Breaking right now at 6, Mayor Eric Adams defying as sources tell us he's being indicted by the Fed.
Hurricane Helene
It's expected to be the strongest storm to hit the U.S. in a year.
So getting this thing to continue to pick up strength.
Both Georgia and Florida bracing for heavy impact.
We're going to hunker down. I told the family if you need to come in, we all hunker down together and we make the best of it.
But we're right here, bringing you live reports and extended weathercasts as we hunker down for Helene's arrival.
And we are tracking Hurricane Helene. We've been on the air since about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we'll be with you through the duration of this storm. It is a powerful Category 3 hurricane. It could bring unprecedented wind and storm surge to our area, so we want to make sure that you have the very latest information that you need to stay safe.
11 Alive News at 5 p.m. starts now.
Tonight at 5, all eyes on Hurricane Helene as the impacts from the storm are being felt in parts of Florida and our state tonight. Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Jennifer Bellamy.
And I'm Jonathan Martin. Video coming into our newsroom shows problems before the storm even makes landfall. Right now, we're going to show you some video from Pinellas County, Florida, which is already dealing with devastating flooding. Look at the video. This is on the state's west coast, right near Tampa. People were told to evacuate earlier this afternoon.
On Your Side Tonight with Jamie Bowl starts now.
If you are told to evacuate, get out of the danger zone.
Hurricane Helene gaining strength. We're already seeing the impacts here at home. And the might of the storm on display along Florida's west coast. Landfall could happen at any minute. Our First Alert weather team is on your side tonight, making sure your family stays safe. Good evening and welcome to On Your Side Tonight. Appreciate you being here. I'm Jamie Bowe. We are, of course, tracking the latest with Hurricane Helene, expected to make landfall in Florida now as a major hurricane.
We're tracking Hurricane Helene as it makes landfall in the Big Bend area of Florida as a powerful Category 4 with strong winds, heavy rain, and storm surge.
This is a live look at the radar as we brace for Helene's arrival here in Middle Georgia.
Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News at 11.
Tonight, people throughout the area are prepared for downed trees, power outages, and flooding.
And now we brace for the storm to blow through.
We have live team coverage of Hurricane Helene with the latest from first responders and information on curfews, road closures from around Middle Georgia.
Good evening, I'm Larry Smith. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck right now on this active weather that is going on down south with Hurricane Helene.
It has been an amazing thing to watch over the last several hours as Helene really has just exploded over the last 5 hours. It is a Category 4 storm. The Hurricane Center says it hasn't made landfall. Well, it looks like it's made landfall.
Your news now. This is WTWO News at 11.
And thanks for watching. You're looking live right now of Tampa, Florida, where there's storm surge from Hurricane Helene. That storm is expected to make landfall momentarily in the Big Bend area. All power has been knocked out there to our cameras, but it is going to make landfall momentarily. The storm was upgraded to a Category 4 hurricane earlier this evening. Kristen Curry is in Tallahassee and gives us a look at how the storm is rolling in.
We are in Tallahassee, Florida, monitoring major Hurricane Helene, Category 4 storm with 130 mile per hour winds.
Un sombrío panorama político se cierne en la ciudad de Nueva York. Saludos y bienvenidos, gracias por sintonizarnos. El alcalde Rick Adams ha sido acusado de 5 cargos federales por soborno.
This is CBS News New York.
Now at 11, Eric Adams just hours away from becoming the first ever New York City mayor to face a judge on federal criminal charges. And tonight, Governor Hochul has something to say about the indictment. We have live team coverage on this historic day in the city.
And also breaking news, Helene closes in, power out and streets underwater as the Category 4 hurricane lashes Florida's panhandle as it gets ready to make landfall.
And playoff baseball is coming back to the Bronx as the Yankees win the American League East. Good evening, I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Christine Johnson. The hurricane is powerful and potentially deadly. Floridians in the storm's path were told to get to higher ground and hunker down.
Not everyone is heeding the warning, though. We have video here for you. The dangerous conditions on the Howard Frankland Bridge that connects Tampa Bay to St. Petersburg. Violent storm right there. With the storm surging, cars still tried to cross the span. Jason Allen joins us live now from the Florida Panhandle. Jason, how's it going?